approaching our mid-30s and adult stuff happens and life happens. And we've given so much to the road for 15 years that we wanted to pursue other things in our life. I opened a gym in 2011 called Rise Above Fitness, which we're sitting in right now. And I knew that in order for this to succeed, I had to sacrifice things in my life to really focus on that. People in the band wanted to have kids, start different careers. And at that moment, I felt like we had an operation that was going on with Bleeding Through that was very tired and unmotivated. And that came from the people that were working with the band at that moment, and it reflected in the band as well. And we had stresses, and those stresses were economic stresses and just stresses of being a band that's been around for this long and not really having the energy to try to reinvent yourself and try to keep going and keep grinding. And we kind of decided that, you know what, this is the time. Like, we need to, let's bail it, let's put it on the chopping block and bail it and focus on our personal lives. And it was probably the best thing we ever did. And I remember kind of like on the last show just saying, you know what, let's leave this book sort of open. Let's not close it entirely. Maybe down the road we'll want to do something later. And it really kind of went in the way of, I was at our studio with our producer Mick Kinney, and we were writing some stuff, and some of the stuff sounded like Bleeding Through stuff. And so we recorded a little bit more, and I remember taking a clip of it and I sent it to our Bleeding Through group text, and I said, you know, like, do you guys want to do this? Do you want to do another record? And everybody just wrote back, yep, let's do it. And that was kind of it. And I don't remember the specific date, and also that song didn't make the record, but it was something that kind of like triggered like that, okay, that felt really good to be in the studio again and do that. And it's been enough time, and I know that people have taken that step on a personal level to sort of sort out their own affairs like during that time off, and everybody was in a better place mentally and financially stable, and that we could kind of push away the stresses that we were dealing with in the band and really just focus and kind of try to recapture how it was when we first started, when it was just about the music. Music turned into a business, and when it turned into a business, it was exciting because when we were kind of going through like sort of the salad days of like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when this music every day was like a new thing that was happening, and it was like, wow, like, can you believe we're gonna be on Headbangers Ball? Like, wow, can you believe that Hot Topic's carrying one of our shirts? It was those things, like every day there was like this new cool thing. And that was exciting, and we didn't see the fact that it was just gonna have this collision course with a business industry. And then all of a sudden, the music that you just want to create is more of like a business commodity and is worth something. And then it turns into, how many people did you draw at a show? How much money did you do in merch that night? How many records did you sell? And it was all stuff that sort of infects the mind of a band. And later on through our career, it kind of ruined things for us a little bit, because when we'd have a bad show, what would be considered a bad show because maybe God forbid, a show doesn't sell out in fucking Louisville, Kentucky on a Tuesday night. It's one of those things where we started falling into the trap of a good show just being a sold out show, versus there could be fucking 30 people there, and those people can be going ape shit, and we'd be fucking stoked on it, right? And, you know, getting back to that is important. Getting back to the sole reason, the very reason why we wanted to play this music. And I felt that we were all mentally at a point when I sent them that song, and that's why we all just agreed to, that was the moment that we were gonna do it.